My family made fun of my truck job for 15 years, then tried to make me pay a $6,000 food bill. I said no, put down $40, and left for good. I'm a 36-year-old man. I have driven trucks for almost 15 years. I started as a company driver. I made money, slept at truck stops, and missed all holidays. Then I made about $38,000 each year. The people who told me where to go treated us like things to throw away. My first truck smelled like old smoke and fast food. But I had a plan. I saved all my money. I lived in a small $600 a month room with plain walls. The shower was too small for my 6'2" body. Then I bought my own truck. It was a used Peterbilt 389 with 780,000 miles. I fixed it myself. Then I bought another truck. Now I have 8 trucks. I paid 12 drivers and 3 office workers. After all costs, I make about $380,000 each year. That's not bad for someone who quit school. My best friend Jake knew I would do well. Others laughed at my truck job. He got it. He would say, "These people don't get business. They think you need a school paper to do well." Jake fixes cars across town. He says what he thinks. We have been close since high school. We played football together. He was on the right side. I was on the right side too. We kept the quarterback safe. We still think that way now. Max is my German Shepherd dog. I got him 2 years ago. Someone left him when they moved away. He goes with me almost everywhere. He sits in my truck, sleeps at my office, and more. Getting him was the best thing I did. With a family like mine, it's good to have someone who loves you. Max is like the team pet for my company. My drivers give him treats, the women at work spoil him, my customers ask about him. He is better with people than I am, and he knows when people are bad. If Max doesn't like you, there's a good reason. My brother Mark is 39. He did what people think is right. He got a degree in money work, married his school love Lisa, and they have 2 kids, a boy who is 8 and a girl who is 6. Sounds like the perfect life, right? Mark makes about $90,000 working for a big company. He has a big house with a $2,800 house payment each month. He rents a fancy BMW car that costs too much. He has $40,000 in credit card debt, but doesn't talk about it. Dad thinks Mark is perfect. Every Christmas, Mark talks about their trips or the new golf clubs he bought. I also have a half-sister named Zoe. She is 27. She is from Dad's short time with another woman. Mom took Dad back, but never treated Zoe well. Zoe and I get along. She puts art on people's skin for a job. She never believed in our family's nonsense. She is the only one I talk to a lot. Then last month they called. Dad was done working. They were having a party at a fancy food place. Mom called, then Mark, then Mom again. Zoe texted me. They are acting strange about this dinner. I think they are planning something. I should have listened to her, but I thought they wanted to be nice to me. After 15 years of their meanness, I hoped they would see I did well. When they gave out dessert menus, Dad sat back. He was drunk. He said, "Let's get everything, one of each dessert for all of us." The waiter was happy and left to order. Mark turned to me and said, "Since you miss so many family events, we thought you'd want to pay the bill. As a gift for Dad's retirement. We already told the waiter." That's why they asked me to come. All these years I thought I was the problem. Now I knew. They didn't see me as family. They saw me as a wallet. 3 hours later, after many drinks, the waiter came with the bill. He put it in front of me and said, "When you're ready, sir." Everyone was quiet. Even Robert and his wife knew something was wrong. Dad looked at me. Mom had her fake smile. Mark had a mean look. I took the bill and opened it. It said $5,850.76, almost $6,000 for one meal. I could have bought new tires for all my trucks for that much. To help you understand, $5,850 is what one of my trucks makes in a good 3-day trip from Chicago to Dallas. That pays for the truck, gas, driver, and more. They spent that much on one meal. I closed the bill and put it in front of me. No one spoke. Finally, Dad said, "Are you going to pay this or not?" I looked at everyone. Did anyone ask if I would pay for dinner? Mark said, "Come on, don't be hard. We know you have money. Your trucks must make good money. So, because I have money, which I worked hard for 15 years in a job you all hate, I have to pay a $6,000 bill I never said I would pay?" Mom leaned forward. "Mike, this is your dad's retirement dinner. Don't cause a problem." I said, "I'm not causing a problem. I'm just asking. When did I say I would pay this bill?" I picked up the bill again, looked at it, and put it in front of my dad.
No. That one word was like a bomb. Dad's mouth opened. "What did you say?" he yelled. "I said no, I'm not paying for this." Mark said, "You can't be serious, this was the plan." "A plan no one told me about," I said. "You just assumed, like you always assume things about me." Robert and his wife looked very uncomfortable. Robert said, "Maybe we should pay for our part." Dad said fast, No, this isn't about you. My son is just being difficult." I sat back. "I'm not being difficult. I'm setting a rule. I should have done this years ago." Zoe tried not to smile. Lisa looked at her empty plate. Mom whispered in her angry voice, "Mike Johnson, you will pay this bill now, after all we've done for you." I laughed out loud. "After all you've done for me? Let's talk about that. You made fun of my job for 15 years. You didn't invite me to family things. You never visited my business or my home. Dad, you told your golf friends I didn't have a job when I was building my $1 million company. None of you, except Zoe, know what my company does or how well it does." Dad started to talk, but I said, "No, I'm not done. You know what good retirement planning looks like? It's the different investments I started when I was 25. It's spending less than you make and saving the rest, not spending $6,000 on dinner and expecting someone else to pay." I took out my wallet, put $40 on the table for my drink and tip, and started to leave. Mom called, "Mike, you can't just leave." I turned around one last time. "Watch me." The looks on their faces were great. Mark looked like someone hit him. Dad was turning purple. Mom looked like a scared lady from old times. As I left, I heard the manager coming to their table. Their night was about to get worse. I was halfway to my truck when I heard steps behind me. It was Lisa, Mark's wife. She looked scared. "Mike, please," she said. "They can't pay this bill. Mark lost his job 3 months ago. He didn't tell anyone." I stopped. "What?" She nodded and looked sad. "The credit cards are all full. We're late on our house payment. Your parents aren't doing well either. Your dad's retirement money is less than he thought." "And you thought the answer was to trick me into paying for a $6,000 dinner?" She said fast. "It wasn't my idea. Mark and your dad planned this. They thought you wouldn't cause a scene in public, especially with Robert there. Why didn't Mark just ask me for help?" "Pride," she said. "And your dad told him this would work." I almost felt bad. Then I remembered 15 years of mean comments and how they treated me. Mark told our family my business was just a phase, even after I made my first million. Dad introduced Mark's kids as his grandkids, but called me his younger son like I was still a kid. I said, "Tell Mark he can call me tomorrow. We can talk alone. But I'm not going back in there and I'm not paying for that crazy dinner." Lisa nodded fast and went back inside. I called Jake that afternoon. I told him what happened while throwing a ball to Max in my yard. "You have to be kidding me," he said. "So let me get this right. They treat you badly for 15 years, then expect you to help them when their money problems get bad. That's your family for you." He was right, as always. Jake has been my voice of reason since high school. When I thought about buying my first truck, he helped me check the numbers. When I wanted to hire my first worker,
He helped me figure out the real costs. And when I dated that crazy woman who scratched my car after 3 weeks, he said, "I told you she was crazy, but you had to learn for yourself." So when Jake said my family would come back asking for money, I knew he was right. 3 days after the dinner, Dad texted me, "We need to talk. Family meeting at our house tomorrow at 6. No sorry, no mention of what happened, just a demand that I come, like I was a kid." I arrived on time in my truck. Max sat up in the passenger seat. I left him in the truck again. Mom is allergic to dogs, and I wanted to be able to leave fast. The house looked the same from outside, but I saw the grass hadn't been cut in weeks. Dad's nice car was gone. Inside, everyone was waiting. Mom, Dad, Mark, Lisa, and Zoe. They looked terrible. "Sit down, son," Dad said, pointing to the couch. I stayed standing. "I want to hear what this is about first." Dad cleared his throat. "We're having money trouble. I'm sure you know that now. The company... There was a problem with some money, and we decided to part ways." "You mean you got fired for stealing?" I asked. His face turned red. "It wasn't stealing. It was a loan I was going to pay back. You took company money without asking. That's stealing, Dad. You don't understand the pressure I was under, he said. We had to look good. And Mark? Mark looked up quickly. Creative accounting? They didn't like my methods. Creative accounting, I said. So you lied about money. Mark didn't say anything. He just looked at his hands. So now what? I asked, though I knew the answer. Mom jumped in. We thought family could help each other until things get better. The dinner was a test, Dad said. We needed to see if you would help when we needed it. I laughed. A test I failed. This isn't a joke, Mike, Mom said. We might lose our house. Mark's family might have to move in with us. We need help. I looked at everyone. Let me get this right. You've treated me badly my whole adult life because I drive trucks. You made fun of my job, didn't invite me to family things, treated me like I was nothing. Now that you messed up your lives, you want me to fix everything? You're doing well, Dad said. Those trucks must be worth something. They are. I built a good business despite you, not because of you. Zoe spoke up. Mike, they asked me to talk to you too. I told them they were crazy, but they didn't listen. I turned to her. It's okay, Zoe. This isn't your fault. Then I talked to the rest of them. Here's what will happen. I'm not giving you money to keep living like you think you should, but I will offer Mark a job. Mark's head shot up. A job doing what? Driving one of my trucks. It was very quiet. You want me to be a truck driver? Mark asked, sounding disgusted. Yes, the pay is $75,000 plus health insurance, life insurance, and retirement savings. It's honest work, Mark, the kind you look down on. I could see him thinking. $75,000 was less than his old $90,000 job.
But it was better than no job. But he would have to work for his younger brother at a job he hated for years. Dad stood up. His face was red. This is how you help? By embarrassing your brother? No, this is how I teach him to be humble, something this family needs more of. Mom was crying now. After all we've done for you. That's the second time you've said that, I told her, and I'm still waiting to hear what you've done for me besides make me feel bad most of my life. No one said anything. I took a folded paper from my pocket. By the way, I paid your dinner bill. They looked happy for a second, but I continued. I made it a loan with my company's lawyer. I gave Dad the paper. This is how you pay it back. $6,000 plus 8% interest, paid back in full within 24 months. You can pay each month, or Mark can work it off at $250 per payment. Dad's hands shook as he read the paper. This is a joke. It's a real loan. My lawyer already filed the papers. You can't be serious, Mark said. I'm completely serious. You wanted my money? Fine, but you're not getting it for free, and not by tricking me. Lisa looked like she might faint. Mark looked like he wanted to hit something. Dad was turning purple. Mom stood up. I can't believe I raised such a heartless son. You raised a son who learned to take care of himself because no one else would, I said to her, and who learned that hard work is better than cheating and lying. I started to leave, but stopped. Mark, the job offer is still there. It's good work that pays well. If you're man enough to take it, call me. What if we don't pay the loan? Dad asked. I turned around one last time. Then I'll take your house. It says so in paragraph 3. That wasn't true, and any lawyer would know it. But seeing the look on Dad's face was worth the lie. Outside, Zoe followed me. That was harsh, she said, with a smile. They deserved it. Oh, absolutely. So what now? Do you think Mark will take the job? No way, I said. He's too proud. But he won't find a job that pays as well, especially since he got fired for lying about money. Max watched us from the truck window, his head tilted. Zoe laughed when she saw him. At least you have one loyal family member. The next day, I went back to work like nothing happened. I had to look at 3 work offers, okay a repair plan, and talk to a possible new driver. 2 weeks later, Mark proved me wrong. He came to my office. He looked terrible. I'll take the job, he said, not looking at me. I looked at him for a moment. Part of me wanted to brag, but that's not how I run my business. Good, I said.
You start Monday at 5 a.m. sharp." "I've never driven anything bigger than my BMW," he said. "We'll train you. You'll need to get your truck license. It will take a few weeks, but we'll get you there." He looked relieved and thanked me for the first time in his life. After he left, I called Jake. "You won't believe this. Mark took the job." "Wow," Jake said. "Hell must be freezing over." "We'll see how long he lasts," I said. "I bet 3 weeks," Jake said. "Want to bet $50? Make it $100. Dad and Mom had to sell their house and move to a small apartment. They still tell family and friends that I'm a bad person who won't help them. That's fine with me. I learned long ago that you can't control what others think. What about the loan? I never filed it or made them pay. That wasn't the point. I wanted to show them they couldn't control me anymore. Mark worked as a driver for 3 months before he quit. I won the bet with Jake. But those 3 months changed him. He had new respect for what I do. After that, he got a basic money job that paid half of his old job. Lisa thanked me for giving him a chance when we had coffee. She said he's changed now. Mark and I aren't close, but we're nice to each other now. He sometimes invites his kids to swim in my pool and play with Max. His son thinks Uncle Mike's trucks are the best. Maybe someday I'll teach him how to drive one. Zoe lived in my guest house for a while. Then she opened her own skin art shop. I helped her get a small business loan. She's doing great. She's booked for 3 months ahead. People like her machine designs like the ones on my arm. She paid back the loan a year early. Mom still doesn't talk to me much. Dad calls sometimes when he needs something. I keep them away from me. Last month, I added 2 more trucks to my business. I signed a deal with a big store. I bought another house to rent out. It will make me $1,900 more each month without work. Business is growing. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had given in that night at the restaurant. If I had paid the bill and let them keep treating me like a failure with money, it would never have ended. One bill would lead to another, then house payments, credit card help, and loans they could never pay back. Instead, I stood my ground, set rules, and made them face reality. Jake still gives me a hard time about everything. Max still rides next to me wherever I go. And I still don't get invited to family events. And that's the best thing that ever happened to me.